going to take some advantage of the warm weather we've got here today in January, North Carolina, and we're going to look at our 1974 Avanti. Now, a little bit of history on these Avantis. These were originally built by the Studebaker Company from 1963 through 1965. They made approximately 5,000 of these cars. These are all fiberglass cars. The original cars were used Studebaker drivetrains with their V8 engines, and there was an option for a supercharged model that used the Paxton supercharger. It was a bolt-on supercharger. Now, after 1965, the molds for the Avanti were sold off to a gentleman, and he created the Avanti Motor Company. And from 1965 or 1966 up through the 80s, they produced the Avanti 2, which is what this car is. Now, it's still a full fiberglass bodied car with a tube chassis, and from the time that the Avanti Motor Car Company started producing these cars, they started using GM drivetrain. So this car has I dare to say it, a Corvette engine in it, because I believe what I read was that they used a Corvette drivetrain. So this has a 400 small block with a 4-barrel. This was the first year for the 4-barrel in 1974 on the Avanti. This car has automatic transmission. They were available with a 4-speed also. So these are actually, the Avanti 2s are rarer cars than the original Studebaker Avantis, because the production numbers on the Avanti 2s were anywhere from 50 to, I think, just under 300 cars per year. It varied every year depending on what their sales figures were looking like. So that makes these cars a lot rarer than the original Studebaker Avantis. Are they more desirable? Some people say yes, some people say no, because it's not a true Studebaker. It holds true to the original Avanti body style. They made a few changes with the lights. Side marker lights, bumpers were changed throughout the years. Not big changes, very small changes were done. But these were actually very fast cars, being as they were light cars, all fiberglass bodied cars. So we're going to do a Will It Run on our 1974 Avanti 2. This car has been sitting approximately 5 years or so, and I've done a quick look at things, and it looks like it had some work done to it before it was parked. We got spark plug wires on here, look fairly new. I had taken the cap off already. The cap and rotor look fairly new. Points look fairly new. I've looked under the air cleaner here, and there's another giveaway on here. You can barely make it out, but it says 400. So under our air cleaner, we've got a Rochester Quadrajet. It's actually very clean. I would have to say that this possibly was replaced or rebuilt not long before this car was parked. So I'm hoping that everything is still in good working order. Nothing's froze up here. The linkage still works. Choke is still working. The secondary is still open. So what we're going to do is go through some checks and see if the engine is locked up first. If it's not locked up first, we're going to check our fluids. After we check our fluids, then we're going to put a battery in it and crank it around, get some oil circulating in it first. I'm not going to pull any plugs out, mainly because they don't look fun to take out on this car. This side over here, almost impossible to even see them. Passenger side doesn't look too bad. I could probably pull some plugs out over there just to look at one or two. But this side here would be a chore to take them out. So what do you think, Ashton? Are we ready to get working on this car and see if we can't get it to run? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see. So let's get diving into this thing and see if we can't make it come back to life.
Maybe you should go on the veil.
Maybe I can go under there.
I can go on the veil. I want to talk now.
Go ahead and talk.
So we got this thingy right here, we have to get these leaves out, and we have to put some new parts on here, and we have to paint this car, and
It's fine. Alright, so what we're going to do is just reach down in here on our crankshaft and just see if the engine's seized up or not. And that's a good sign. Turning over good. I can hear it building compression as I'm spinning it, so that's another good sign. Well, I think I've gone around at least one full time, and I didn't feel any tight spots, which is good. I could feel it building compression. I could hear it building compression as I spun it, so that's another good sign. So I'm going to go ahead and get my spark plug tools, and I'm going to pull one of these plugs out over here just to take a look at it. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my fuel pump disconnected from the tank because I don't want to suck up anything that might be coming out of this tank. Alright, well this looks like about the easiest spot to get out of spark plugs. I'm going to see where I can set the camera up here so you can see. Pull the plugs out of this here. Go ahead and take out this number 6 plug. Again, I'm just taking these plugs out to give me an idea what kind of condition the engine may have been in before it was put away in storage, or how old the tune-up parts are on it. If you were doing a will it run on something that has been sitting for extended periods of time, 10 years or more, you might want to go ahead and pull all your plugs out, get some lubrication in the cylinders, give her a good crank around without any plugs in it to get everything flowing again. And okay, what we've got here, just like with everything else on this car so far, these tune-up parts look fairly new. These plugs are, it was running a little bit rich, but they're in a really good shape. They look like they haven't been in there a few hundred miles maybe before this car was parked. So all our tune-up stuff should be in good shape. Okay, well, something I just discovered. Alright, something I was going down here to unhook the fuel line, and these lines have me a little confused. Okay, it's got 3 lines on it. Obviously one is in, one is out, and a third for the vent or the emissions type system. But this one line here had me a little baffled here for a second, because it goes from the outlet to the inlet. It's just in a loop. And then the line that goes up to our carburetor comes straight off of our frame line, right up to the carburetor. So that is telling me that one, either this car came with an electric fuel pump from the factory, or two, the fuel pump on this engine went bad at some point and somebody installed an electric pump in line somewheres underneath the car. So we'll have to figure that out, but I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the line up here at the carburetor just to get that out of there for now. Just so if I put a battery in it and the electric pump is still working, it's not going to pump anything into the carburetor. Alright, I got a battery I'm going to try and make work in here. We'll see if I can't get it to sit in the right position to make this happen. I also did some digging around underneath the car, and I did find a inline electric fuel pump back in the right rear wheel well. Probably not the greatest place for it, because it's right next to the tire. I don't know what some people were thinking when they do stuff, but I've got the fuel line disconnected, so anyhow, if it does start drawing stuff out of the tank, it's not going to pump it into the carburetor. And we may be able to use that pump to hook up a auxiliary tank somehow. Let's see if we can get this one here to reach. Yep. Okay. Alright. Now we got... don't see any smoke anywhere. Should have power. Alright, what I'm going to do too, I'm going to go ahead and cut this air conditioning belt off, because the battery's wanting to lean up against the compressor, and we don't need to have the air conditioning working. Probably doesn't work anyhow. So I'm going to cut that belt off so that this is not spinning and causing any problems with the battery. Alright, that's belt cut. We don't have to worry about the AC spinning. Let's just check for power. Oh, we got power, our fans are working. Alright, I got my coil wire unhooked. Let me bring you over here. There's our coil wire right here. I got this unhooked. So what we're going to do is crank this over. See if I can't get this to sit where I want it to. I don't think it's going to jump that far. Alright. Let's see if we can't get this. Let's see if we can't get spark out of here. Let's see if we can't get it to crank. Well, the wipers work. I can hear the old fuel pump kicking. And I don't see any spark. I'm not sure how good of a spot that was. I'll give it another shot here. Well, I guess I didn't have my battery charged as well as I thought it was. I can hear the fuel pump working too, so let me get the battery charger on this battery. And we'll have to pull the cap off and the rotor and look at the points and give them the old Mortsky flick. Get them to start working again. Alright, we got spark now. We got spark. We got some sparkage.
We got batteries?
No, we got spark for the ignition.
Yay, now it can maybe work now.
It might. We're going to try. We're going to put this distributor cap back together.
And maybe it's gonna try.
And we're going to let the battery charge some more.
And soon?
And then we're going to get some gas to put in the carburetor.
Uh-huh.
And then we're going to see if it'll come to life.
And then we can take a ride.
Well, we won't be able to take a ride yet. It doesn't have any brakes.
Why?
Because we haven't fixed the brakes yet.
We have to fix the brakes. We have to like this.
Well, I know I've got spark out of my coil. I guess I'm going to have to pull off a plug wire and see if we're getting spark down to a spark plug. It's not going to work like that. Look in the end of that spark plug tester. Alright, I'm not seeing anything at a plug. Ready? Well, I believe we have spark.
Huh? You think I have spark?
I believe we've got spark now. Get some more fuel into her. Well, there we go. Yeah, it went for a little bit.
Now we got the food.
Alright, as you've seen, I got the car to start up and run. We're going to see if we can get it to run a little longer. It didn't like that. Well, we know it runs. It seems to be running on all 8 cylinders, which is good. It's going to take some running off and on to get this thing back to where it's going to run and idle and get the. I may have to clean the carburetor out. I don't know yet. As far as the fuel goes, the gauge is reading empty, so I may try putting some fuel in the tank and then see. I hear the pump working. See if it'll push anything up here to the carb. I'll have to put a new hose on it because that hose that was on there is just brittle and dried out and not good. So I'll have to put a new piece of hose on there, go through the fluids again. Once we can get it where it's running, we'll change the oil in it, get some fresh oil into it, and make sure there's antifreeze in it. And then we'll go about checking the transmission. We got to get the brakes working. We'd like to have this as a running and moving car, so this way the owner can decide if he wants to keep it and restore it, or if he's going to put it up for sale as is, as a running driving car. Alright, I ran a new fuel line up from the tank. We're going to try and suck on this. I put some gas in the gas tank, and we're going to turn the key on and see if the pump works.
Look, all one's yet.
Kinda. Got gas coming out of it.
Huh? There's gas coming out of it?
Well, we got got some varnish out of it to start with. As soon as we got some water, oh, I see a leak in the back.
What?
We're gonna have to see what's leaking in the back.
What?
So it would appear that the gas tank is leaking in this car, just like the other car that we went down to this customer's place and did a will it run in the 33 Buick. Fuel tank was leaking on that one also. Don't know if we'll fix this one. We have to see see what they want to do with this car. If they're just going to turn it, it may not be worth putting the money into putting a tank in it. So for now, I'm going to pump some of this fuel out until I've got cleaner fuel coming up. Hook my line back up, see if I can't get it to run. What happened there, buddy? Huh? Are you all right? Okay.
It's so heavy!
All right. Can you go in there and turn the key on? Can you turn the key on?
Yeah, sure.
And then turn it off when I tell you to, okay?
Okay. I didn't turn it on yet.
Not my helper.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Keep it going. No, I don't think we're going to get anything else out of it. Car must be leaning away from where the pickup tube is, and it's not picking the fuel up. Pump is clackering away. when it was drawing fuel from the tank, it was pretty quiet. So we're gonna have to rig up an auxiliary tank for this. Shut the key off there, buddy. Turn the key off. Thank you. And that'll be another day, since it's getting kind of late and I'm needing to stop and take him home. So until then, we'll be back in a little while.
That was fun! I'm going to turn it on again.
No, we don't need to turn it on anymore.
It does look.